the beast. So this is not your regular G63 AMG. This is the 2017 Brabus B700. A little lesson from Professor Gaji. Brabus is an aftermarket company which normally specializes in making the AMG range of vehicles more special. In essential, getting more power, like killer looks, and a lot of goodies. This is actually the Brabus WideStar edition. WideStar in the sense it's wider. It's much wider than the regular G63 and even the G63 Brabus. The wheel arches are much larger. We have about 45 millimeters like stretching out of the wheel flare. Today's lesson is actually on four-wheel drives and on SUV vehicles. People don't actually get a drift when we talk of 4x4s. They list any kind of car which is high up in the air as a 4x4. Let's take a Land Cruiser GLA. This is also called a 4x4, but it's a sports utility vehicle. It's a compact 4x4, but it's not a 4x4. It's actually a bigger or a much spacious edition of a saloon car, raised up a little. Every supercar maker is trying to put an SUV on the road. Most of them swore like Ferrari that they were never going to do an SUV. They're only going to focus on thoroughbreds, hypercars, supercars, but they are shifting to the market because that's where the money is. Funny enough, they're not going to call it SUV, they're going to call it FUV or something, crazy bastards. Yeah, so there's a G-Wagon, originally a G-Wagon, but kitted by Brabus, and yeah, it's a 4x4. What makes it a 4x4? It has 3 diff locks over here. This locks the diff for off-roading. 4x4s is more, their territory is more of off-roading. They are off-roading vehicles. They like to go into unreachable areas like remote locations. That's what they are made for. For off-roading, they can go on off-road terrains, they can go on smooth roads, they can go literally everywhere. So people who don't like, or people are very versatile of their movements or change of locations, normally go in for these kind of vehicles. The SUVs are, I wouldn't say they are you can't call them off-roaders because they will suck at it, but they've created them for people who have issues with ground clearance, space, people who need a lot of space to pack, volume. They need volume, you understand? And the 4x4s do that, but they tend to be sometimes too cumbersome, too much, or too big for people who love SUVs. So people tend to move more into the SUV world, especially those who like to travel. During the close of the week, travel out of town, they always steam it as an SUV. I'm getting a 700 horsepower engine, lovely sound notes from the exhaust, a lot of horses when I put my leg down. It's all you want, and I could boldly stamp that the G-Wagon, even the G63, not even the Brabus, is the best what do you call it, value for your money when it comes to buying a 4x4, even though they are literally the most expensive, literally almost most expensive 4x4s you can get on the market. They are really worth the money. The Velar is cool, really nice to drive, cool, but it's not fast enough. In my terms, you might not be somebody who likes to put your foot down most of the time, but the Velar isn't just quick enough. It doesn't do it for me. But put power aside, it's a lovely car. It's like Range Rover is really setting the trend with this SUV market, because everybody was going in for like one shape, one style kind of SUV. It has to look like this, but they just changed it. And trust me, 10 years from now, you're just seeing copycats, especially the Chinese. Best SUV for me is a GLA. Funny enough, I'm a BMW person and I'm just selecting Mercedes in everything I do. The GLE is an amazing car. When you have a car like the GLE, all you need is brake pads. Because you'll be stopping almost every, like you need to stop that car. It's just too fast. The 63S. Oh, I was just gonna park out one idiot. Obviously this car gives you more chicks. you have more chicks with this car. My wife didn't hear that. Yeah. So let's hop into the Velar and we do our final. Okay, so we are in the Velar. This is a 2019 Range Rover Velar, aerodynamic, but it's still much fun. It's loaded with a lot of goodies, so it's sort of a good comparison to the G-Wagon when it comes to extras. But aside that, there are two different vehicles. So what Range Rover actually do to all their vehicles, they make it seem like they're big boy. The Vogue. Vogue is, a very powerful off-roader. It's a strong off-roader, but I think it's more luxurious than off-roading. But it's a very capable off-roader. But you can't really compare it. It's not as rugged as the G-Wagon or the Land Cruiser V8. This, on its own, it's supposed to be like a mid-sized SUV. Because Range Rover already has the Sport, which is supposed to be a smaller version of the Vogue. And the Evoque was there, but they say this is not there to replace the Evoque, but it's a new car on its own. So it's supposed to be an in-betweener between the Sports and the Evoque, and it's doing the work really well. And I really like what they've done with the interior. This is a really dope finish by Range Rover. You should see the interior. I don't know whether this is leather, but just see the pattern, the texture of the whole dashboard is just marvelous. The Range Rover Vogue from 2013 and the Sports 2014 upwards, I always say are timeless vehicles because you can't really put anything on them. I'm just thinking, how would Range Rover replace those vehicles? And I'm seeing it from the Velar, because if you look at the facelifts on the Sports and the Vogue, you're able to see that a few features from the Velar is being put there, and it's doing really well for them. Velar obviously has a lot of downsides. In this car, because you don't have all the lumbar support over here and the armrest really close to you like the Vogue and the Sports, it's like you are forcing yourself to grab the steering. You have weights just dangling on your elbows. Secondly, it's not powerful enough. I'm sure the P380 might be more powerful, but I feel like with the V8 it might do better, because it goes though, but it's not really powerful enough. You have different modes. Let me take you through the modes. You have dynamic eco, which you shouldn't go to. There's normal comfort. This is ice, snow, gravel. This is mud ruts, and this is sand, so desert. So sandy, loose sand, whatever you choose, it doesn't work. My point of a 4x4, this is not a 4x4. It doesn't work. It has lane assist, which all these new cars have. A lot of security features, safety features, so you don't crash them. It has a head-up display. It has a whole lot of stuff. Would I buy one? No. Yes, I would definitely buy one. But what you have to actually do is you buy it for the wife. Then you get a G-Wagon, and you just be switching. You can't say anything. Let's go to the sound settings, audio settings. This is one beautiful thing I think this car really does well at. So you could choose different auto settings. This is from Meridian, Dolby, and DTS, and not the equalizer. I'm talking of this. So you can change to Dolby. You could change to Dolby. You could change Meridian. So there you have different effects from the sound system. I think Range Rover just wants to sell more cars from this car. That's my honest opinion, because they know people want something flashy, much user-friendly when it comes to fuel, when it comes to maintenance and all that. So they try and package it really nice for to fit with any kind of market. Anybody looking for a spacious SUV which does good gas mileage, which can take the dog, which can it does really well. But I think the only thing I dislike the most is the sitting position. It's just too off, and the side mirrors don't really. You have a lot of blind spots. Just look at this interior. Range Rover, I would say, is really changing the game because they are not following the trend of other car makers. Car makers are just trying to, you know, just trying to put packages out there for people to buy. This is really thought out properly. Like the whole digital screen, you know, it's like buttonless. There's no button here. So when you want to select the AC, it switches. How they actually started this. So you want temperature, it switches back. The what do you call it? The fan speed, rear for the back, and this is the surround, which should be always on. You guys should always make sure when you have your ACs on, that this bit is always on, because it circulates the air more. You get better consumption because the car doesn't need to really struggle to pump in more fresh AC. It's just going to like recirculate what's already in the car. Cars to compare it to, what I'll take over this any day is a GLE 63S. You should drive that car. I'll just put it there. That car is so beautiful. It drives so proper. It's just a good definition for a super SUV. I feel like the Cayenne is just too heavy. When you get into a Cayenne, it feels like you're driving a bus. But when you pull your foot down, nothing gets close to the Cayenne. And BMW X5, not my. One thing I like about those handles, they pop out really fast. Before you know it, within a split second, it's popped out. So you just get into the vehicle real quick. It's a lovely car. Sorry, I'm very hungry. You're also eating. The cameraman is eating and filming at the same time. Cut.